This is Lemmy with RevZilla. I'm here in Washington, running from Tacoma to Port Angeles. The reason we're out here today is Harley Davidson invited RevZilla out to test some of their new 2017 models. Now, I'm not going to sit here and fib to you. The only models they brought out here are touring bikes. Why? Because they know that everybody wants to know about that new engine they designed, the Milwaukee 8. Fortunately, I got my keister in the seat of one. I was on a road glide a little earlier today. I'm on a street glide right now. And I'm getting all sorts of feedback and input, and I wanted to take you guys out on the bike so you could sort of get some of my thoughts on this bike, really from like the first 100 miles. And the big changes that Harley has made here, obviously the engine, we're talking about that in just a sec, as well as the suspension rework here, which they made a pretty big deal about. I think they had a right to. So let's talk about the engine. Now the stuff I'm about to say, I think, is going to make some people freak out. They're going to shake their head and be like, oh gosh. Other people are going to breathe a sigh of relief. Harley has this weird conundrum on their hands. You know, if you want to build a better sport bike, you just build it faster, build it lighter, and you had a success. Harley needs to make their bikes better, but they also need to keep them firmly rooted in tradition of the stuff that came before. So it's very difficult, I would imagine, from an engineering perspective, to sort of make the bike better without changing the essential, thing that made people want to buy these for so long. So here's the underwhelming part. If I had gotten on one of these motorcycles and you hadn't told me it was a Milwaukee 8, I would have thought that I was on a very, very well-sorted twin cam. And that in no way is a bad thing. This is like a very nice, gentle progression of technology with this thing. So I'll give you a couple for examples. Those of you who have ridden a Shovel and then an Evo back to back. It's very clear that those are related, but it's also very clear too that the Evo is the next iteration of that Shovel head. And similarly here, the Milwaukee 8 really just picks it up and refines things further. It's a very sophisticated motor. It just feels very smooth. There's plenty of torque. It delivers it. I mean, it just serves it right up on a plate. It's very easy to tap into the torque on this thing. It's really just a lot of fun to ride. I think most people who have Harley experience are going to get onto a Milwaukee 8 and they're going to nod. This is going to be a very familiar bike to them. I think to someone who has never had a Harley, this will also be a very acceptable bike, and I think that shopper, right, who's also looking at Indians, who's maybe checking out that Moto Guzzi MGX21, who's checking out Victories, now will be able to get onto this bike, and I feel like this bike hangs with those motorcycles. The twin cam bikes, boy, they felt really dated with some of the other offerings in the dresser market right now, so it was nice to see an update, and I gotta be honest, this engine's pretty exciting to ride. I was in third gear, I had it spun out pretty good, I came through a corner, whacked the throttle, and the rear end slid out really nicely and just kicked right over on me, which is not something that happens on a stock twin cam. Yeah, maybe on something that's been worked over, but these are heavy bikes. To kick the rear loose like that, you gotta have, some grapes to the engine. So I really enjoy that. I can't wait to feel what this engine is like once they start putting it into the chassis, the lighter bikes. A Milwaukee 8 powered Dyna, I think, is gonna be a hoot to ride around on. So the second item I want to talk about too while I'm on this bike actually isn't the engine, though that is, again, sort of the big news here. It's actually the suspension. So Harley reworked the suspension on these bikes, front and rear. So I've never been a fan of Harley touring suspensions, not in the recent years for certain. The front was pretty bad. The rear was exceptionally bad. You guys have seen with our house street glide, we swapped out rear suspension almost immediately, and I recommended that most people do the same thing too. The suspension was just in no way commensurate with the weight and the performance level of the motorcycle. And, Harley reworked some things here, like for instance, the rear suspension, so much better, oh my gosh. And they also have normal remote adjustable preload. It's not that silly, air over hydraulic system that just got it sucked, and I was always too lazy to adjust it, and so is everybody else, and that's gone now, which is great. Makes this motorcycle a lot more pleasant to ride. And here's the thing too, I'm going to dole out a hard truth right now. Harley Davidson touring bikes are expensive bikes. There is no reason that you should have to suffer with that crap suspension on there. This isn't the best suspension in the world. The aftermarket's going to come along and there's going to be better stuff out there. But I also don't think necessarily now that you need to go running for the aftermarket catalog as soon as you buy one of these. So, kudos to Harley Davidson for recognizing it and for making a change. So I had lots of other thoughts about the engine, about the bikes themselves. I'm going to encourage you guys, check out my Common Tread article on it. It's not just a rehash of what you're seeing here. I was able to talk to some of the engineers and really got some of the nuts and bolts info on the engine. So if you're interested in some of the changes, definitely check out that article. Click that subscribe button, of course. Make my ride your ride. Tell us what you guys want to see. Subscribe to us. Check out our content as we're rolling it out. You know, this isn't just my motorcycle ride. This is you guys too. So hit that subscribe button. Let us know what you think of what we're doing. Help us make the content you want to see. I'm Lemmy. I'm out of here.